and to bring you your fix of everything related to the Montreal Canadiens. Two men who could seriously use an intervention. Your source of Habs talk, right from the Rock. Right from the Rock.
Hello, Canada, hockey fans, United States, and Newfoundland.
Hockey Junkie and GK.
Okay, guys, welcome to Season 2, Episode number 6 of the Fix Podcast. My name is Matt, also known as Hockey Junkie, and joining me today live, in person, in
First
skin, Gary, GK, Hockey Talk. GK, what going?
Yeah, there you go. What's up, buddy?
Not too much, you. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Just reeling after a weekend of under 9 hockey.
That was good hockey.
It was good times, yeah.
Great times.
Yeah, absolutely. That's more entertaining than a Montreal Canadian hockey game these days.
Oh, man. Some of those kids, man, could easily replace the Habs top forwards.
Yeah. I figure we bring down Joel Armia, down to under 9. I teach him a few things, puck position, how to keep his head up, how to work hard all the time,
Yeah.
Put a full 60 minutes in.
Leave Mario up, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Mario's pretty good. This Yoel is the problem.
That's the problem. It's like Jekyll and Hyde, man.
It is.
He's not the only one either. Anderson's the same thing, man. Anderson's the same thing. One time he's hot, then the next thing he's cold. It's like you don't know what you're getting game to game.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm a little disappointed this morning, though.
Yeah.
9 a.m., first podcast in person, no bacon and eggs.
No beer.
I know. Even worse. No beverages.
I know.
No refreshments.
You got a coffee. You didn't bring me a coffee.
That's true, yeah. We're all dicks, I guess. Just a bunch of dicks here at the Big Podcast.
I'll have bacon and eggs next time, I promise. We'll get it from Robbins.
Oh, man. And the weather's getting colder. I don't know if you noticed the mop's gone too?
The what?
The mop.
Oh, your hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wife
It's
made me shave it down, man.
The wings are all gone.
I feel vulnerable.
It's cold out there.
It is cold. The airs are cold now.
It's harder in the stadium these days. Oh, man. Speaking of unentertaining games, man. San Jose Sharks. We got to go back to that one.
That's we got to talk about that.
We do. Just, come on. I know it's second half of back-to-back. Like it is. And whatever. But there's no excuse to lose to San Jose Sharks.
No.
And not just lose to them like they outplayed them and they hang in there. But I don't know, man. It wasn't a game worth even talking about.
It was disgusting.
Yeah. Didn't even get a point.
No.
We took a point off the Edmonton Oilers the other night, but couldn't take a point off San Jose Sharks.
Not only did they lose to San Jose, but they looked bad against them too.
Absolutely.
You couldn't take away too many positives from that game at all.
I found that game they played San Jose. Who did they play right before San Jose? Was it the Flyers?
Yeah.
The game is Flyers. They scored 2 goals early on 2 shots, and then got completely outplayed by the Flyers.
Oh man, it was bad.
And it was just like the top line of Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky. That was the first time in a long time it looked like out of sync, completely out of sync.
Yeah.
And they did again then against the Sharks the next night, but against Edmonton. Well, I won that last night. Before last was it Saturday night? Yeah. They actually looked like they were playing well again. Caulfield got another goal. And the power play looks a lot better too.
It did, yeah. I didn't get to watch all of the Edmonton game, but from what I've been hearing, though, the Habs were really hard on Connor McDavid.
They were hard on him. Gooley is like, he does picnic whenever Connor McDavid comes in, man. He just sits on a blanket right in his fucking lap, and that's it. Like, he doesn't move, he doesn't get a shot, he doesn't get a whiff. He ended up with assist on the game winner in overtime, but it was overtime, 4-on-4, and what are you going to do? But and a CNI shot. You see that went off the post, came back and hit Mount the ball in the ass and went back in the net. So there's not much you can do about that. But overall, yeah, they were just like a blanket on him. And then the fans booing him all the time.
That's
you
awesome.
see Ryan Whitney was like chirping the Habs fans for booing McDavid. Was like,
yeah.
What's it to you, man? We're in a stadium, in his barn. If we want to boom, we'll boom.
Very hypocritical statement from Ryan Whitney, too, because, I don't know if you noticed, but in that comment thread, they were digging up past stuff that was said by Whitney, and he was saying that, fans pay lots of money to the tickets, they can boo whoever they want.
Yeah, really, right?
You know what I mean? And then he comes out and says some shit like that, makes himself look like an idiot. Pick a side and stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's Ryan Whitney, right? So a bit of a homer comment too.
Yeah.
I know. Connor McDavid is a fantastic hockey player.
Oh.
He's playing for Team Canada. Everyone there is cheering for him. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But he comes into your building, and let's face it. He's a bit of a dick when he plays hockey.
He is.
McDavid is he doesn't come across as this nice guy who you like to get to know. He feels like a guy who's just if he loses, he'd be pouting in the corner somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got that face on him all the time.
Yeah, his brother looks like a twin too.
Yeah, I know.
Did you know? Like awkwardly similar.
It's weird,
and they're
right?
years apart.
What do you do? It's like,
Kinda freaky.
I think if fans want to boo, they want to boo. I mean,
Have at her.
I'd boo him. Why not?
Yeah, man.
That's like this debate sometimes, like an old player come back and they'd be like, oh, the fans better not boo this guy. Or sometimes it's like, oh, yeah, we're definitely booing this guy. They want to boo, let him boo. You know, Pacioretty comes back. He was our captain for years. If you don't like him, boo him.
Passionate fan base, man.
That's what makes it.
Now, the big storyline going into Edmonton was Joshua Wawa, our boy. And one thing that kind of freaked me out, they called him up right after the last San Jose. At first, I was thinking, like, is this a panic move?
Yeah, really.
Obviously, the fans are rattled there. They're running around with pitchforks. Like, is this the reason why you're calling up Joshua Wawa? Or like, is there more to the story? And the next day, we find out that Josh Anderson's injured.
What's the status of Josh Anderson? I haven't seen.
Day to day, from what I heard.
Oh, that's practically a fucking finger cut for the Habs these days.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, Wawa coming up, man. Like, he's been playing good in Laval, and especially the last little while. He's kind of in a little bit of a dry spell there for a while, but he scored 2 goals again the other night, and he was playing good. And with all that injury, going on in Montreal, it never hurts to bring up a guy who's got some promise. I wouldn't mind seeing him go back down a bit. Like, I like that he's up and that, but going down, I like Laval's success too. You know what I mean? Like, I like him down there and building and going on a bit of a run. Because always good to have that guy up. But would you rather have him winning in Laval and building that culture like when Price was there? In Hamilton those years, and they built that up, and and then that kind of carried over to those guys coming up and playing NHL, or getting a cup of coffee up in the NHL, and then losing every 3 out of 4 games. So I don't know. But I thought Wawa I think he looked okay for his first game. I mean, he didn't blow the doors off anybody, but his first game in the NHL, only scatter a few people who are going to, put up a hat trick or 4 goals or something like that, and then go away. So I was happy with the way he performed. And I thought that it seemed like Martin St. Louis was happy with the way he performed as well. Yeah,
can't complain for a first time in the show. He picked up a fine, $2,500.
Ooh, Wawa.
Yeah.
For what?
Going bucketless pregame.
No way.
He did, yeah, he did it.
Are you not allowed to do that anymore?
No, Gary Bittman gets pissed off, I guess.
But when you got a flow like Wawa got, you got to let that go.
Oh,
you got to let that blow in the wind.
Yeah. Like 2 years ago when Piz did it. Oh, man, did he ever look good?
Oh, Pez's hair is epic, right? Man, he's like one of those chia pits. It took no time for that hair to grow back. He cut it off at the end of last season. Now it's back down to his shoulders again.
Next day it was right back.
That's awesome.
It's like Shea Weber. He used to shave his beard the night before the game.
Breaking razors off on his beard. Oh, man. Weber was good too, eh? Like, whatever about him, but he just had that presence back there on the blue line.
He did, yeah.
Those years when he was like, I'll say relatively healthy, running on 75% probably.
Yeah.
They were good years, man.
Brought the Habs really close to a cup final.
Did.
To a cup.
A team that had no right being in really there, but your goaltending and that defense in the playoffs was just like, just towers of power, man. It was something. Good memories.
The big question is, how far away are we from hitting that plateau once again?
That stride again. I mean, it all depends. I mean, to me, next year, if Montembeault's going to be there, to me, Allen's going to be gone. I don't think there's any question. Regardless, he's not going to be back, I don't think. So you're going to have a Montembeault-Primo tandem in net. Montembeault looks good.
He does, yeah.
In limited minutes, because he's not playing a starter's workload, he looks good. So it all starts from goaltending. We know that from our years with Carey Price. The young defense takes a step forward, move out maybe. I figure like Savard's probably going to be gone. I'd be disappointed Masson is gone, to be honest with you. I think he's the kind of guy you want around, like a veteran who can play bigger minutes and can handle the puck, even though his giveaway statistics aren't very good in the defensive zone, apparently. But when he's good, when he's on, he plays really well. And then you got a young forward group who hopefully will add a little bit to it this draft, and hopefully will add a little bit to maybe, I don't know about free agency this offseason, and health, again, like it was this season. I mean, you look where Montreal is right now, up until when they got the second wave of injuries, because Doc's been gone for the whole season really, and they weren't in a bad spot relatively.
No,
so if they get a bit more offense, stay healthy, and the rest of the Eastern Conference is the wild card, because we all thought Ottawa's going to take a step, Buffalo's going to take a step, Detroit did kind of take a step, but a lot of the young teams that we felt were going to be kind of the next wave of the dominant teams in the Eastern Conference haven't really taken that step. Yeah. And then you got Tampa Bay's falling off a bit. I mean, Boston hasn't really fallen off, but I don't know what the hell they're in the water in Boston. The Leafs are falling off a little bit, whether it lasts or not. Hopefully it does. So I think, next year will be, if they stay healthy, we'll be there. You'll be in the wild card hunt. I think so. And then the next season, hopefully with a little bit more talent added, there'll be perennial, definitely playoffs, and maybe, flirt with the C word.
I hope you're right. Next season, I'm really looking forward to seeing Kirby Doc play more than, 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
you know
really.
what I mean? Yeah. I was so hyped for him this season. I can't stop talking about it because, I can't stop thinking about it.
And the preseason, him and Slafkovsky, that was the best hockey up until that time. That was the best hockey Slafkovsky had played. And it looked like that was solidified. And everyone you put with Kirby Doc looked good.
Yeah.
So now say you got Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slafkovsky on that top line. You bring in Doc Anderson, Newhook again, never played at all. Who knows who might step up and play on that second line with Kirby Doc, and it's different altogether. So you think same thing, maybe I won't say not contending obviously next year, but in the playoff picture down the stretch, not sellers at the deadline next year.
No, I don't think they're going to be sellers. It would have to be really, really bad next season for the Canadiens to be sellers.
I think so too.
Yeah, they got to start trending upwards now, especially after this season. I mean, nobody expected the Canadiens to be, battered with injuries again this season either. But my God, man, it looks like a scene out of World War II.
The same story over and over again. I don't know. I think the biggest difference between this season and last season, if Montreal was healthy right now, I didn't predict them to be in the playoff picture this year, but I didn't expect them to get the goaltending that they're getting, on a consistent basis. And maybe I didn't expect Slafkovsky to come around as much as he's come around either and kind of contribute as much as he's contributed, even though it's not always points. But even when he doesn't get a point, sometimes he deserves them. There's games where he gets a point and he deserves 3. He got the third touch on the puck or he created the turnover. So I think, for me, it's, if the team plays as well as they play this year and the goaltending plays as well as it did, and they stay healthy, I'd be surprised that they're not in the playoff picture, come the last 2 months of the season.
Yeah. Going back to Slafkovsky, is it fair to say that Slafkovsky he's much better without the puck as well, man? In terms of development, man, when he doesn't have the puck, he's probably, he's picked it up 400 or 500% compared to last season.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you look at the defensive statistics of that line, or just overall underlying statistics of that line, whether it's points or not, their possession numbers are better when he's playing with them. They're better defensively when he's playing with them. Suzuki is defensively, it's his best defensive season since he's been playing a more prominent role with Slafkovsky there.
Yeah.
But he gets puck turnovers, puck retrieval, back checking. He's a beast, man. And that stuff is the stuff you expect to be lagging in a 19-year-old's game.
Oh, for sure.
Not the stuff that you think would be more prominent in his game. So, and you see flashes of his offense too. It's just a little bit of timing issue sometimes where he doesn't take the shot. Maybe a little bit of confidence, or maybe he wants to be that pass first type of guy, and that's how he'll build his offense going forward. But it's moving in the right direction. I feel a lot more confident in that Slafkovsky pick right now. When you look back at that draft, it's hard to look at another player from that draft and say, that guy's definitely going to be better than Slafkovsky is right now.
Yeah, a lot of the doubt that I had last season is gone.
100%. Shane Wright's still in the AHL.
Yeah.
Logan Cooley had a hot start, but you don't hear really much. I haven't heard much on him.
Power play merchant.
Yeah, really, right? Yeah. Which, again, he's a young guy, too. That'll probably come around as well. But they'll be completely different types of players.
For sure,
when it comes down to it, Cooley's probably going to be the more skilled, and Slafkovsky, might be the more rounded and maybe the better playoff guy.
Yeah.
Big body who can control it around and dominate down low. That's playoff hockey. And if you're looking for a guy to, we don't want regular season success. This is the Montreal Canadiens, man. It's all about the cups. It's all about 25 Stanley Cups.
Yeah, we're not Leafs fans, man. Jeez.
Absolutely not Leafs fans.
Freaking Leafs.
How much is it beautiful the Leafs are struggling right now?
Oh, man. They were up 3-0 the other night, eh?
So good. Montreal lost Saturday night, and I still had a great time watching the Leafs just blow a 3-goal lead to the Colorado Avalanche. Their defense is abysmal. It's so bad.
It is,
It's so bad. One or two fellas there who would play in anybody's top 2 and top 4 even.
And now they just gave Nylander his pot of gold too, so
where's the solution on the back end for him?
I don't know, man.
Unless they move somebody else. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's hard to move away from any of those guys. I wouldn't trade Austin, man. Lots of people would, But how do you trade Austin Matthews?
It's
50-goal guy, probably almost 60 goals this season, probably. He had 30 for fastest all season. Nylander probably's got, no longer the best value contract, but he did have their best value contract. Marner's probably the odd man out if you're looking at it, because he's kind of underperforming and he's getting paid a punt load. But he's a local guy, so how do you turn around and trade Marner? And then how do you get better?
And I'm really like, I'm just kind of sitting back and watching him. I'm just waiting for, when you look at Trilliving's track record too in Calgary, it just makes me excited. Like I'm just sitting back like a 4-year-old on Christmas Eve, waiting for the ass to fall out. Oh man, it's gonna be awesome.
You see, like, at Leafs Twitter too, man. Like, people are worried about Treliving. Like, they are. Like, some people love the move, but then some people are like, do you see what this guy did in Calgary? And they're just waiting for him to make. Well, last buddies the fighter they signed, not Wayne Simmons.
Reeves.
Yeah, Reeves. Like, 3-year contract at, like,
and then he just
Ryan Reeves
runs himself into the boards like a freaking idiot.
He's like, I'm done playing for the Leafs. He's just like, bang.
That's what I do.
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Absolutely. And he's down. He's gone for, like, I don't know how long. But, I mean, even when he's in the lineup, like, how do you... I commit 1 year to Ryan Reeves at that age for the role he plays. Committed 3 years and like, what is it? It was over. It wasn't even league minimum. He's making like, what, $2 million a year or something?
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Like, he made the right move, though. Like, he probably just looked at a Scotiabank app, and as soon as he see that money deposited, just boom.
Right into the wall. I'm outie.
Yeah. I'm done here.
It's getting cold.
Oh, man. But he's been a useless addition. Like, that's just wasted cap for 3 seasons.
100%. And the 3 seasons, like, if you can waste cap for a year, whatever. Like, take a risk on a guy, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But, like, and
Bertuzzi's not even injured yet. Like, wait until that happens.
You know what I'm worried about? This is the only thing I'm worried about. And I don't think this will happen because I don't think their defense is good enough by them all. But, like, look at Washington. All the years they were the best team in the league. Yeah. And just never got it done in the playoffs. And the year they won, they were mediocre. Had a mediocre season. A lot of the good pieces they had that they were banking on and kind of moved on. They kind of Jimmy rigged the rest of their offense. And then got on a roll. And, man, if the Leafs ever do that,
don't be talking like that guy.
I'm moving out of Newfoundland.
We're not even drinking.
I'm working from home. Maybe that's the problem. We're too sober for this morning. But, it's one of those things where I don't think that's going to happen. Because, like I said, I don't think their defense is near good enough. And I don't know what they'll move to make it better.
Klingberg's gone. He was gone right away.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's enough talking about shit.
I agree.
Let's move on to the Gauthier trade. You made an interesting tweet the other night about NCAA players, eh?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if you look at it, look at Russia, right? How many players have been drafted out of Russia who haven't come over it? It hasn't been very many.
No.
But there's always that Russian factor. They say that guys slide down the draft because of the Russian factor.
Yeah.
Recently, the NCAA's stock, as far as draft has been going through the roof. Like, more kids get drafted in NCAA than ever.
Yeah. But
there's always that risk. It has happened before with the NCAA. Like Hayes walked the free agency. Not a massive name. Kevin Hayes, I think. I might be wrong, but one of the Hayeses anyways. Yeah. He walked the free agency out of the NCAA. And it's always a threat for those guys. And now you got a prominent guy like Cutter Gauthier just saying, pulling Eric Lindros, which is ironic because it's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And being like, I don't want to play for you guys. So then they're forced to move. And no doubt they got a good player. Drysdale's a good hockey player. Like, it's not like they gave him away for nothing. Gave him away for beans. But if you look at when they drafted Cutter Gauthier, like, that's a Philadelphia Flyer type of player, plays it gritty, skilled, and then he walks away. So I'm wondering, like, when it comes time, if you're drafting that top 5 and there's a choice between this NCAA guy and a CHL guy, or maybe a league guy who's lighting it up, do you maybe take a second guess? And maybe you won't. Maybe it's a one-off and it won't have any effect. But if you're at NCAA and you're looking at that, there's a reason you're drawing all this talent is because the NCAA is looking like a legitimate path to NHL now. Whereas, 10 years ago, it was rare, or at least more rare. So, do people kind of shy off from that? And then will that affect the NCAA moving forward? Maybe that's a few too many dots to connect. But that was the first thing popped in my head. Like, will there be an NCAA factor in the draft now?
Yeah, and I mean, you could be onto something. And I was kind of shocked that it happened. An American player drafted by an American team. Like, I was expecting it to happen to a Canadian team taking an NCAA American player. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the Habs or the Leafs or something like that. Hopefully the Leafs draft a guy from, like, Arizona or something like that, and he's just like, nah, I don't want to go up there and play. Or Winnipeg. Like, let's be honest. Sorry, Winnipeg Jet fans, but no one wants to play in Winnipeg, really.
Yeah,
you're in the middle of nowhere.
It's cold.
It's cold, very, very cold. So, like, Winnipeg takes a guy and he pulls, a Pierre-Luc Dubois. I'm like, I don't want to be here. I'm out.
Yeah. Man.
So, yeah.
The other big news about this Cutter Gauthier trade was tweeted by Charlie O'Connor, and basically he said that at the 2023 draft, the Flyers were offering up Cutter Gauthier to move up and take pick number 5 from the Habs. They wanted Reinbacher.
Yeah.
Now, again, like, the Flyers media it's let's face it, it's kind of weird, man. They've been coming up with this Kevin Hayes stuff over the last few days.
Oh, yeah.
Right out of nowhere, like out of the blue. Like, even John Tortorella had to defend him. So, I mean, I take it with a grain of salt. Like, I don't really know if they wanted Reinbacher at all. But
well, if you look at the player that Drysdale is, and look at what Reinbacher is projected to be, only younger. Reinbacher would fit their window better than Drysdale fits their window. Really.
Yeah.
If they really like the guy. Plus, they would still get, if they wanted Mishkov, they would retain 7 and they would still get Mishkov. So you come in a draft with Reinbacher and Mishkov.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But like from a Habs fan perspective, would you be all over that, or are you?
I don't know. I mean,
it's tempting.
I don't. It is tempting because we need offense too.
Yeah,
and Gautier's got that. I don't like. He's not
He's not Connor Bedard.
No, he's not predicted to be like a superstar in the league, but he's going to be an offensive player in the league. He played well at the World Juniors, which we'll have to talk more about the World Juniors too, because we haven't had a podcast since then. But I mean, if I had to have Gauthier or Reinbacher, I don't know. It's too early to tell.
It is too early.
It's too early. If it hadn't been at the draft and there hadn't have been a person with that 5th pick, right now it's Reinbacher. We would have traded Reinbacher. If you had just said me we were going to trade the 5th overall pick for Cutter Gauthier, I might have been okay with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Arpan Basu is in Switzerland right now.
Really?
Yeah, he's over there watching Reinbacher, talking to him, chatting up his coach. Probably going to smuggle him in his little suitcase and bring him back over. Well, that'd be epic if he did that. But he did make some interesting comments, though, since he's been over there. Apparently, the Canadians haven't been talking to the Cloton team about,
what to do with him,
bringing him back or anything like that. There's been no conversations about that at all. And Reinbacher seems really focused on his season over there, which, I mean, makes a lot of sense. But I don't know, man. Like, I just got my stomach rolls over sometimes thinking about it. Like, I want to see him in Laval or.
Now, I did hear, and correct me if I'm wrong, or anyone out there wants to correct me, but I did hear, their season over there ends relatively early.
Yeah.
Right? They're nowhere near play. Their team is horrible over there.
Oh,
so they're looking at, relegation games at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So they'll play their relegation games. But I'm pretty sure even those will end early enough for him to come over and finish off the season with Laval. Yeah. I did hear, there's a chance that he'll finish that season, he focus on the season over there, and then come over here and play with Laval and play maybe in the playoffs with Laval. I have heard that. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
Man, that would be a big addition to an already good team.
Yeah, best of both worlds. He gets to finish the season over there, which he wanted to do. Gets to develop a little bit more. And he's playing against men over there, too. It's not like he's playing junior hockey. And then come over and take another step up, play in the AHL, and then sign his contract and come into next season and figure out where he's going to play, whether it be another season, full season in Laval then. And at least then he knows what to expect. Or he comes in, makes camp next year and plays in the NHL. Who knows?
I just really hope that they keep him here. I hope he doesn't go back next season. Yeah, man, I would lose my mind, man. Oh my god.
When he interviewed him though, after the draft, it seemed like he wanted to go back. And dude, you remember he did his interview? Want to go? And he's working some kind of business work term too. You remember that in his interview? He's he's I got this job I got to do, and he's one more year at that apprenticeship or something, and so I'll finish off my season and come back. So he said that from moment one when he had his first interview, that was his plan.
Maybe he's a plumber.
Maybe he is. Maybe you can hire him on. You take apprentices. So I mean, he goes, he finishes whatever, and he comes over, he finishes the season in the AHL this year, and ends up playing. Say if he ends up playing, I don't know what, 50 games this season, because he's up to around the 20 game marker. He gets over there now, 20 something games. He'll come over here if he plays another 15, 30 something games and plays well, develops, and then starts it next season. I don't have any issue with that if that's what the kid wanted to do, and he feels comfortable doing it.
Yeah, no,
and it works out
for sure, man. And like we were saying, bringing him into Laval would be huge. Laval's been a wagon lately. They've been really picking it up. I got some crazy Jack Eye stats that I want to go over here.
You always do.
I always do. Just Gotta keep pumping those stars. They're still gonna bust. Grant McKegg dug these up. God bless his little cotton socks. So without Jack-Eye, Laval was 5-11-4. And since Jack-Eye's arrival, they're 8-3-1.
Solid.
Good, right? Now let's move on to Logan Mailloux. Without Jack-Eye, he had 10 points in 20 games. And now since he's been paired with him, he's got 10 points in 12. Since McKegg done this, I mean, he's got more points now. He's been scoring goals. He was first star again the other night. Going to the All-Star game.
Going to the All-Star game, yeah, absolutely.
Big stuff, man.
Big stuff. Some interesting comments about Mailloux, too. I mean, well, let's start with Jack-Eye first, and we'll come back to Mailloux. I mean, like, that's awesome. Because, I mean, first when he went down, well, our last beer bet of the week, you know, we had talked about Jack-Eye, and he went down. His first game was horrible, and everyone was like, you know, where's that spark that he had, and talking about all this Marty, you know, doesn't like him stuff, and there was a bunch of rumors going around. You know what Montreal media is and fans are. You know, we're part of that group. We're crazy too. So he goes down, and then like since that time, man, he's been a force down Laval. He's been playing great defensively. He's generating offense. He's scrapping when he needs to, but he doesn't need to often because he's got that reputation now. You know, they're not headhunting him like I thought maybe they would because, you know, everyone wants a piece of this guy. I think it's like nobody wants a piece of that guy.
That's what it seems.
It seems like, you know what I mean? So it's great, man. And if you look at it from a developmental point of view, because we're all worried about that, right? Because we love Jack and we want him to be a Montreal Canadian, but like he probably got more out of the last 2 months in Laval, or in 1 month in Laval, sorry, than he would have got out of the last month in Montreal.
That's fair to say.
You know, I would say that's a fair assessment right now, given how much he's grown, how much of an impact he's made on Laval. And Logan Mailloux, for one, and maybe a few more, are better players right now because Arbor Jack-Eye went down and played in Laval. So 2 or 3 years from now, that impact could be bigger than the change it had on Arbor Jack-Eye.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also read something the other day about Mailloux and his, I don't know, attitude. Did you read anything about that?
His attitude?
Yeah, like apparently first when he came in, a little like he's late for practices sometimes.
Oh yeah, somebody set him straight.
Yeah, and like the players like cut his skate laces off and just be like, no man, this is a show. Get your shit together. And apparently over the last little while, like he's after coming right around, and you see the reaction when he got announced that he was going to the All-Star game from the team, right? Like, that was nice, man. So good for the kid. Like he's been through. I mean, I know they're self-inflicted, you know, whatever, but he's been through a lot over the last little while. And to rebound and overcome some of that stuff and come back and maybe and hopefully be the player that Mark Bergevin thought he was going to be when he drafted him. Yeah, good for him.
He's been looking sharp, and he also addressed the fans the other night too when he was first started. He was speaking French, and you know that's just huge brownie points. It's like coming down here and you know addressing us and dropping some big Newfie slang or something.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, we love Logan Mailloux.
Yeah, he's awesome. His big drip is drawn.
Coming out kissing the cod, talking to the media.
And like I don't know French, you don't speak French, but it wasn't just like it looked like he knew what he was doing.
Oh,
and like there was an excellent response because sometimes like when Montreal players in past Suzuki did it not too long ago try to speak French, it gets dissected pretty badly. You know, like Suzuki got roasted for talking in French. Like, oh, it's horrible. It's like kids trying, but I didn't see any of that backlash with Mailloux. So
no, he's talking good French.
Yeah, he seemed like he knew what he was doing.
I drove when I drove back from Alberta there a couple of years ago. I stopped at KFC. It's called PFK. And ordered my food in French. Yeah. I tried, and man, the girl behind the counter was just laughing nonstop. It was terrible. Mais soufflé poulet, popcorn chicken, and what else did I order? A grand frite or something with large fries. I can't speak much French. I'm terrible with it. They got a pretty good kick. They were good sports better.
That's good.
They didn't give me the.
I mean, sometimes they'll appreciate the effort.
They gave me the Mailloux treatment when I was there.
It's funny because, like, I would genuinely like to be able to speak French.
Me too.
Like, when I was in high school and had to try to learn it, it was like, this is useless completely. Yeah. Why would I ever want to do this? But I would genuinely, like, if there was a way for me to do it and time for me to do it, I would love to learn how to speak French because it's such a good tool to have, man.
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, be able to converse in the Montreal Canadiens.
And then we can learn how to speak English right now.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe one step at a time. One step at a time. We'll work on English together first.
We're like two cavemen here just doing hand signals.
Me like hockey.
Oh my god.
So yeah. Good for Mailloux, good for Jack-Eye. Waz coming around. Laval's got a bit of an injury bug too, though, eh? Like Farrell's hurt.
Yeah, man. Brady Keeper's out. There's a bunch of
A
them.
bunch of guys out. It's just like the whole organization just cannot stay healthy. Another thing we haven't talked about yet, we should talk about, is the World Juniors. Right? That also happens as we had last time. So, and remember last time I said we had forgotten somebody? We had what was it? Fowler. We forgot Fowler.
Yeah. We did.
But he didn't play well. He played well when he played. And they gave him a lot more games than I thought they were going to give him. Like, he played 3 games out of 6, was it?
The game that he had to shoot out, man, was...
Yeah, he played amazing.
Oh, right? He was solid.
He looked good. He didn't let any squeakers in. He made the kind of claim for the spot for next year if they need him or if he can go back in. Because I think Trey Augustine can go back in next year as well, too, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So it still might be up in the air. But you got to think Detroit's going to be making a move on him soon.
Yeah.
Detroit, man.
For sure. World Juniors, though, like I said it before it even began, like I wasn't as hyped. You know what I mean? Like last year I was doing backflips, man. Wow, stanky panky and Bedard on one line.
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I mean? It was exciting.
Yeah. Team Canada just didn't have the oomph.
No,
you know what I mean? Now, like you say they didn't have talent. They still had a load of talent on that team. And, Macklin Celebrini looked fantastic. No doubt about that.
Oh, he stood out. He was a standout, right?
And any time, I mean, what Connor Bedard did, last year, that doesn't happen very often.
No.
Even the really excellent players don't always have that big of an impact on a hockey team. But he obviously blew the doors off. What Macklin Celebrini did, less impressive, that was still very impressive.
Yeah.
And then one bad period, man. They had one bad, like really bad period. Got down by a couple goals. And when you got 5 minutes left in the game and it's tied, the best team doesn't always win. It's one bounce. And you see how the goal went in. It was like off an ass or off a leg. And, it was going one way and went back the other way. And it's over.
Yeah.
And it could have went the same way for the Americans. The same thing. They were tied in the third period. They got their bounce. The Canadians didn't get theirs. And
I'm still salty just thinking about it. But the Americans, though, Lane Hudson, big games, man. He played good. And not only that, like, not dropping the bits, keeping the bits on. But, man, he's an enforcer, man.
Yeah, right? Who knew? And all busted. He's blood all over Buddy's back and everything. He's like, badass Lane Hudson. You see, McKaig had him on their Sick Draft Recruits podcast.
Yeah.
And he seems like a nice kid, man.
He does, yeah. He was rocking a Montreal shirt.
Yeah, which you gotta love.
Look good. He's. I don't think we got any worries about Lane Hudson. He's getting signed immediately.
And well, the big thing, you look at the World Juniors, because a lot of the big concern about Hudson is, will he be able to defend in the NHL? I mean, legit. Like, I think everyone kind of assumes his offense, at least to a certain extent, is going to translate over. He's talented, he's creative. It's just, will he be able to defend at that level? But the Americans used him more as a shutdown defenseman.
They did,
an offensive defenseman.
Yeah.
And, like, if you look at his numbers and, like, expected goals per 60, it's like everyone else is down in, like, the lower 3 quadrants. And you got Lane Hudson up here by himself. So even if the points weren't there, they were expected to be there. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of maybe a little bit of puck luck. So I thought he looked great. Beck looked... I mean, the whole Canada team was kind of underwhelming, but I think Beck played his role well enough.
Limited role, really.
They didn't play him an offensive role even this year. And I mean, that's not going to be his bread and butter, but you got a feeling like Beck would have been one of those guys, had they made it to the playoffs, would have been the guy setting up the big goal. Or, I feel like he's that kind of guy.
Prime time.
Absolutely. And Phil Michar looked great.
Oh, Michar, man. Can't believe the difference in Michar from last season to this season.
It's night and day, man. Because, like, towards the end of last season in the OHL, we're kind of like, because the beginning of last season, after the draft, like, Philip Michar, he's good, man. Like, we got a steal here late in the first round, and everyone looked good. It was like Christmas Day last year.
It was.
And then, it was kind of like, but he looked fantastic again. He's playing fantastic in the OHL.
Yeah, and Owen Beck got traded right after the Saginaw and picked up 6 points, man, in his debut. Like,
nothing making an impact on your team, right?
Oh, my God. I was saying, like, couldn't you just bring him out to dinner? Or, you know?
No. He's going to just put an exclamation point on it, man.
6 points. He's got 9 points now in 3 games.
3 games with that.
Yeah.
And they're hosting the Memorial Cup, too. So regardless what happens, he'll have a chance to win the Memorial Cup. Anyways, he'll have a chance to play in the Memorial Cup again, which is always good, regardless of what happens.
Yeah.
Good. Who else is kicking around? Like, I feel like prospects wise, we talk about Hudson and Paul for obvious reasons. We talk about running back here for obvious reasons. Michar. Fowler looked good. Still think that, like, he could end up being, if not the best, one of the best goalies to come out of that draft.
Yeah.
And they got 3 themselves.
Oh yeah. They really targeted goaltending, the 2023 draft. How do you think they're going to approach 2024? Like, you got to at least expect them to take a forward, man. with their first
100%.
pick.
I think
right?
you got to.
If they don't, like, I will lose my mind.
I,
Like,
think I wouldn't be surprised if you see, like, because we're going to be picking, it probably looks anywhere between 5 and 12. Say you're safe. That's where we're going to pick somewhere.
and you could win the lottery.
You could win the lottery move up, watch changes their approach completely, obviously. There's no question then they're taking a forward.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you got to think that if you're in that kind of mid-range, and even with their second round pick, like, I wouldn't be surprised. Right now, you need quality. You don't need quantity. But they have so many picks. You see them like letting guys walk because they don't have enough roster spots to sign guys.
Yeah.
So like, you got to think they're going to be kind of saying packaging up guys, maybe even with some of our defensemen trying to move way up in the draft. Or take some of that draft capital and trade it for young assets like they've done in the past, because they still don't have a legitimate offensive star.
No.
Caulfield's close. He's got potential to be a 40-goal guy. I'd be shocked if he doesn't hit 40 goals at some point in his career. I thought he'd hit it this year, but the start he had is not looking really good.
No.
More beer, I got lost. Thanks a lot, Cole Caulfield. Suzuki is a good, solid hockey player. He's kind of a Saku Koivu-like player, Fantastic. You love him on your team. He's a heart and soul player who put up good points, but you'd be hard-pressed to call him a superstar.
Yeah.
So we still don't have that. So where are we going to get it?
I know. The lottery.
Maybe.
That's what I'm hoping, man. Like Chicago did it last year, right? They moved up.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite possible. If you can finish in that bottom, especially bottom 6, like you got a legit chance of moving up there.
And I feel like they are going to finish that low. These 1-point games, though, man.
Just keeps rolling. Well, they're only 2 points from 6 right now.
Yeah.
And then Buffalo will jump over them, and somebody else will jump over them. Let's see. Give me a second. Hold on. You keep talking.
Yeah, the 1-point games, it almost feels like they're playing the games to get into overtime. I know they're not, obviously, but that's a lot of OT games. They had just as many regulation wins as San Jose, or they did, right?
It's crazy when you look at it.
Yeah.
So they're like, Minnesota's the other team there. So right now they're 2 points ahead of Minnesota, and same amount of games played. Regulation wins, Montreal's only got 13 regulation wins. So it's less than, the only team with less regulation wins are the Chicago Blackhawks, the San Jose Sharks, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, surprisingly enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, not that surprising, I suppose. Ottawa's still kind of surprising, though, right? Like, how is Ottawa as bad as they are right now?
Yeah.
It's, like, I figured after Christmas they were really going to start turning around. And, I mean, I guess they have closed that gap a little bit. They're still like 11 points back of the Habs, though. Now, Montreal's got 4 games in hand on them, so I don't know. Or they got 4 games in hand on Montreal, but...
They deserve it, though, man. Sens fans were talking so much shit.
Oh, yeah, it's glorious. I just don't want them to get another high pick. Like, to me, I like Ottawa to miss the playoffs like they did last year. Get close and then not make it. Yeah. I don't want them getting a top 5 pick.
No. Imagine them winning the lottery.
Well, that could happen, right? Yeah. And you got Kachuk, Celebrini. And, I mean, there's talk now they're going to look to offload Tarasenko, which is going to get him. He's getting them a first-round pick back, too. So now they have 2 first-round picks, one high and one who knows where. I don't like it.
Not even Jacques Martin can save us right now.
No, I know. Come on, Jacques. Turn him around.
Come on, get it done.
You're killing me here. I don't know, man. But, like, the whole Eastern Conference is a bit strange. You know what I mean? And Boston is playing well. Surprisingly well, I would say. I don't know. We should be surprised. Leafs are falling off. Tampa Bay's not that good. Who's at the head of the Eastern Conference right now?
Boston, I'm pretty sure.
Florida. Everyone kind of had Florida as a fluke when they made the playoff run last year, but now they're second in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. Haven't made that many moves. But Reinhardt's on pace for 50 goals in a career in a contract year. The Rangers are one of those young teams that everyone expected to turn the corner and have turned the corner. They're legit now. Yeah. They're the real deal. Forwards, defensive, goaltending. They got pretty much everything. The Flyers. What a surprise the Flyers have been. I know Flyers fans who are rotted they're playing this well.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's like Montreal making playoffs all those years with mediocre rosters. You don't get the pick. You don't really have a legitimate chance at the cup. And, Paul Avery, if you're listening, he hates every time they win. It's just and he loves them. Oh, yeah. He's like, what's the point?
How does he feel about Torts?
He doesn't seem to mind Torts. No? He likes old school hockey.
I like Torts, too.
Yeah. I find Torts, if you're a team who's right there, then Torts is your guy.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever about Carolina, I feel like, and Rob Brittenmore's fantastic, but 2 seasons of John Tortorella in Carolina would just tighten up all the bullshit from that team.
It would,
with a little bit of here and there.
Bedtime, no ice cream.
You're going to bed early. Don't talk back to me. But then year 3, they'd had to blow it up because everyone had won out. But those 3 years, like I'd say he'd win them the Stanley Cup. And oddly enough, Toronto, I think, could probably benefit from John Tortorella.
Yeah.
But for how long? You imagine, But I hope they don't get him either. But
Matthews to Arizona, like 1 year in, man, he wouldn't be able to handle that kind of shit.
No, he'd be gone.
Oh,
he'd be out of here.
Yeah, he'd be gone.
Which would be awesome, too. So, all the more to like John Tortorella. I love that.
Jeez, maybe we should throw his application in.
just sleep it
You ever make him a fake resume for one of your buddies before and just toss it into Tim?
I did that for you.
That's why we get out.
You get a call from Robbins. I heard you looking for a position. Oh, God. I can do that. Some of that. All right, never mind. Carry on. I won't say that on air. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, man. I don't know. The Eastern Conference has been weird this year. And then even the West, the whole NHL's weird. I mean, Edmonton was shit in the bed. Now they're on a roll. What did they win?
On a rampage, man.
Was that 12 in a row when they beat Montreal the other night? So, I don't know, man. It's been a bit of a crazy season. What do you got for the beer bit of the week this time around?
That's a good question.
I still owe you beers from last time. Because our Jack guy is now a month since he hasn't been called off.
I am feeling a little thirsty.
I should have brought some beer in here this morning. I got to work though, like soon. So. Not with pipes, with people. So
yeah, you're good.
Pipes don't care if you got a beer on your breath.
They expect it.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I got one. Joshua,
yes, sir.
Tonight against the Colorado Avalanche is going to have more points than our former whipping boy, Johnny Drouin.
Oh, one French Canadian heartthrob against another.
Yep.
All right. What if it's a tie?
Jeez.
Goals take precedence. I'll give you that.
Okay, yeah, goals.
So if it's a point each, whoever's got the goal wins.
Ice time at the end?
Ice time would be the final tiebreaker.
Like Johnny Drouin's probably.
So it's like, I don't know, it's coming towards me.
Yeah, you're doing good.
I'm doing all right. And Drouin's been on a bit of a roll, so I'll definitely take the bet. Whatever you want to put on it.
6-pack. Seeing we haven't done a pod in a while, man, we're going 6-pack on this one.
All right, sounds good.
And bacon and eggs, possibly.
All right, next podcast, I'll bring the bacon egg. Whoever the loser brings the bacon eggs and the coffee. And the 6-pack of beer.
Deal. All right.
Don't work on that then. We're finished. Forget about it.
We better get to work.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta pay for this shit.